Salutations, mortals and children of the night. I'm the Vampire Otaku, and welcome to my channel. It's going to be a short little video about my figure collecting journey and just restarting it, all the things that I went through, and what sparked my curiosity and passion to start over. So it's much like my manga collecting journey, where I had a lot of mangas moving and just, going through unfortunate events caused me to either lose my collection or it being ultimately too damaged for me to keep lugging around and holding on to. So I want to say back in 2012, 2013 is around the time I first started collecting figures. And probably around 2015 is when I got more serious about it. That's when I started going to more anime conventions. I started collecting a lot more things because I had a decent, steady job. I realized that fast forward now, 2024, back to 2013, 2014, 2015, I never had any scale figures. I didn't even really know what they were. I just knew that I liked certain characters and whatever I could afford, which happened to be in the prize figure range. And I was also really interested in Figmas and SH figure arts because I like to pose my figures and have them sitting near strange things. Like I had a Kirito figure from Sword Art Online, and I would just have him sitting at my little miniature piano, which was a music box essentially. And I thought that was super fun and super cute, super cool. You couldn't do that with prize figures and other fixed figures that are stuck to one pose. So I thought that was really cool. The downside to Figmas and SH figure arts and figures like that are posable and movable, Nendoroids as well, a lot of the details of the figure were kind of compromised, being able to remove the face of the figure or move the torso or the arms or the legs. You had joints, and the joints kind of took you out of the immersion of the figure, so to speak. It kind of made the figure look a lot less believable as its 2D counterpart. So as of now, 2024, I collect figures that are painted really well, sculpted really well, and look like they popped straight out of the anime or the video game. That's my go-to. But I still have a soft spot for Nendoroids, and Figmas are really awesome too. They're made really well. Sometimes the joints are a little loose, but a lot of times they're pretty tight. Their parent company is Good Smile, as well as Max Factory is kind of like in that bracket. Freeing is in there too. I've been doing a little research. I've been learning a little bit about the different companies. And to segue to a different part of the conversation, I started collecting figures again probably back in 2020 or 2021 during the pandemic. And that was around the time I started really collecting manga again. So I was really excited. I was making even better money and not doing too bad on rent or bills. So I had a little extra money to throw out my hobbies like cosplay and mangas and figures. What really sparked that interest was buying mangas and buying Gundam or Gunpla. Building them was really fun, and I was thinking, all right, I love a lot of Gundams. My favorites like Burning Gundam and Unicorn Gundam, and of course RX-78. But then I started thinking, what about my other favorite characters? What about, if we're gonna stay in the giant robot department, what about Nirvash from Eureka 7? What about some Evangelion? Evangelion, there we go, tongue twister. And then I started thinking about my other favorite characters like Matsue Ryuko, and there's so many characters that I really enjoy, more Power Ranger characters, and that made me think about collecting Figmas like I used to back in the day and possibly getting nicer figures. I didn't really know about scales back then, but the first figure that I wanted to get was a Matsue Ryuko. I don't think I have a picture of her, but I got scammed. Like I bought a fake figure And this wasn't the first time. I had a bunch of Sailor Scouts from SH Figure Arts, and they were fakes as well. The paint wasn't right, the face wasn't sculpted as good as it should have been. And that kind of turned me off to collecting figures for a while. For a few years, I still collected manga because manga was so much easier. It was fulfilling for me. I'd buy the mangas, I see the whole thing in a set behind me or to the side, and it just looked really good. Reading the stories and seeing the art was very satisfying. But figures, I was a little too ignorant to enjoy collecting them. And at Matoi, it sucked because, it's one of my favorite characters. It was a Figma. It was a character that I had years ago, and I found it for a really good price. Obviously, the price was too good to be true because it was fake. So what I did was I got my money back because it was blatantly fake. Like, the box didn't have Figma on it. I remembered what the box looked like, and it just wasn't that. And her face and the dark blue of the hair just wasn't right. So I got my money back and I sold it on Mercari, letting people know, hey, this is a fake figure and I don't want it because I thought it was real. And I sold it a lot quicker than I thought I would, which is really fun. I got the money back and put it towards manga. Fast forward to about, I want to say maybe last year, I was at the Mall of America and I found myself purchasing a few more figures. And the figures that really got me interested in collecting figures again were Call of the Night Nazuna. I had 2 Sega prize figures. I've always had good luck with Sega. I had a Super Sonico from Sega. I had Matori Ryuko. My old roommate at the time had a Satsuki from Kill la Kill. All of them being Sega figures. They just looked good. Good prices, good paint, good sculpt, good scale size. They weren't scale figures, but they were a pretty good size. The displays, the stands weren't completely boring, but they weren't too crazy either. They were just a circular stand with the logo of the show. They were usually black. I really like black stands for my figures. They just look inconspicuous and nice. Sometimes white, depending on the character. But I was happy about that, and I decided to slowly pick up a few more figures. And then I started really learning about the companies. I learned about bunny figures. I learned how big 1/4 scale was and just scales in general. And I believe my first scale figure was Matsui Ryuko, the 1/4 scale from Freeing, the bunny. I got this figure. It was absolutely massive. It took forever to get shipped from Japan. And I started learning about buying figures from Japan, which helps a lot. DHL is expensive, but it's super quick. EMS is really nice. I've just been slowly learning about the entire process of collecting figures. And the Matoi was absolutely beautiful. It had real stockings or real fishnets. The sculpt is absolutely beautiful. It's very weighty. The paint was absolutely gorgeous. The face sculpt, the eyes, the pose was really cool and unique. It was just a beautiful figure, and I started to decide to collect more scale figures because I never had them before. So now my goal for collecting is getting all the expensive and beautiful scale figures that I missed out on and new ones that are coming out. I've never pre-ordered before, so I'm planning on doing that as well. And I've been really keeping my eye on Pop-Up Parades by Good Smile Company. I really like them a lot. And I've always been a fan of Nendoroids, and I'm going to continue collecting Nendoroids because Good Smile makes great quality, and they also are just super cute, and they have a wide variety of different characters. My first Nendoroid was Toon Link from Wind Waker. Amazing Nendoroid, a lot of accessories. The paint is really great, the sculpt is really great, the joints move awesome. I've had that Nendoroid since 2015. It's really beat up. I don't know where the box is. I'm missing all the accessories. Eventually, I'm going to rebuy that Nendoroid so I can enjoy all the different poses. I love posing Nendoroids. They're just so fun. And Figmas are cool too. I don't know if I'm going to invest in Figmas again, but we will see. Because right now, I'm really in my scale figure era. I'm really excited about all the different companies I'm learning about. Alter, Good Smile, Fat Company, Mythios. Just from the top of my head, Freeing, even though it's a part of Good Smile. Max Factory, kind of a part of Good Smile. Mega House. And I'm also interested in getting vintage figures, vintage scales, vintage prize figures. Just super excited about figures in general. And I'm excited to bring you along on my journey. I have a bunch of figures that I've gotten that I'm gonna unbox for you in the next video soon. I literally just got a giant box today. I'll show you. You already know this is gonna be a 1/4 scale. Really big box. Really excited about it. I've always thought that smaller figures just didn't showcase the details of the characters good enough, but I never thought of 1/4 scales. I never thought of bigger scales. I just thought, well, whatever I see at anime conventions or whatever I find online that's available, I'll try to snag up. And now I'm using my ability to search and to learn more. I'm using it a lot more than I did back in the past. I was a noob, but I didn't know what was going on, and now there's a plethora of information available, and I'm learning as much as I can. And on my journey, I'm excited to show you what I learned and admit the things that I didn't know. Learn from you guys as well in the comment section if any of you are seasoned veterans when it comes to figure collecting. I have a lot to learn, and I am super excited about it. Like, I didn't know that Nendoroids came with actual real clothing. That's super cool. They swap parts really well, like the hands and of course the bases and sometimes the clothing as well, which is super awesome. And just really enjoying all the options I have. Unfortunately, there's a lot of characters that I like that just don't have a lot of options, a lot of love and attention. I'm a big JoJo fan. I'm a JoJo shirt and all the JoJo mangas behind me, and just all the times that I've spoken about it on this channel. JoJo is amazing, and JoJo kind of has its own figure thing called super action statues. Ironically, they're not statues, they're like Figmas. They're around the same size as Figmas, and they come with a lot of accessories. I've been collecting those for a while, and those have also inspired me to collect more figures. Yeah, I'm just really excited about the whole journey. I'm planning on getting more JoJo figures and super action statues as well, and Nendos as well. I'm never gonna stop collecting Nendoroids. Nendoroids are, to me, what pop figures are to a lot of people. Unfortunately, Nendoroids don't really have the resale value that pop figures can have, which is crazy because Nendoroids are a little more expensive with their base price, and pop figures can be like dirt cheap, but they can get really expensive really quick. So that's interesting. I'm not a fan of pop figures, as I said before, but I respect the hustle. So that being said, thank you so much for checking out another video. I'm gonna get this unboxing video to you soon, and then I'm gonna buy display cases and work on some lighting and just talk more about these figures one by one. This will be one massive unboxing, and then after that I'll show more details, how I feel about the character, how I feel about the sculpt and paint, how I feel about the price, the aftermarket price, and just anything else that I could think of talking about that figure that I purchased or the figures that I want to purchase. So with all that out the way, thank you for listening to me ramble. Subscribe if you haven't. We are getting dangerously close to 500 subscribers. Very excited about that. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.